I'm so looking forward to seeing your mother again. When I'm with her, I'm reminded of the virtues of the English.
But isn't she American?
Exactly.
Even though Downton Abbey has officially wrapped up its story with its third movie, Downton Abbey the Grand Finale, that might not actually be the end of the franchise. Fans have been saying goodbye to the Crawley family after years of following their lives through the hit TV series and 3 movies. But there are already hints that the story could continue in a completely different way. Instead of moving forward, the next chapter could actually take everyone back in time with a prequel. The original series became one of the most popular period dramas on television, running for 6 seasons before making the jump to the big screen. It built a huge fan base because it mixed family drama, romance, changing social classes, and historical events, all while following both the wealthy Crawley family and the servants who worked at Downton Abbey. The movies allowed audiences to spend even more time with these characters, but many people assumed the franchise had finally reached its ending. But one cast member has suggested that there could still be plenty of stories left to tell. Alan Leach, who played Tom Branson throughout the series and films, recently spoke about what the future of Downton Abbey could look like. According to him, conversations are already happening about where the franchise might go next, and one idea seems to be getting a lot of attention. Leach revealed that he recently had lunch with director Simon Curtis, and during their conversation, they talked about how emotional the grand finale is for longtime fans. The movie is meant to represent moving on and saying goodbye, which makes sense because audiences have spent well over a decade with these characters. Even though it's a farewell, Leach hinted that it doesn't necessarily mean the world of Downton Abbey is being left behind forever. He explained that what he's been hearing is that if another project does happen, it could either go backward in time or jump much further into the future. The prequel idea would focus on Violet Crawley, the beloved Dowager Countess, during her younger years. Since the character was played by the late Dame Maggie Smith in the original series, a prequel would naturally feature a younger actress stepping into the role and showing viewers what Violet's life was like long before she became the sharp-tongued family matriarch everyone knows. That idea has excited plenty of fans because Violet was easily one of the show's most memorable characters. She delivered some of the funniest lines in the entire series, but she also carried a lot of wisdom and experience. The original show often hinted at interesting moments from her past without ever fully exploring them. There were references to old romances, friendships, family rivalries, and dramatic events that happened decades before the main story began. A prequel could finally bring all of those stories to life instead of simply mentioning them in conversation. It would also let the writers explore a completely different period of British history. Instead of focusing on the years after World War I like the original series did, a prequel could go back to the late Victorian or Edwardian era, showing how Violet grew into the woman audiences eventually met. That period was filled with massive political and social changes, so there would be no shortage of material for new storylines. The Dowager Countess always seemed to know exactly how the aristocratic world worked, so seeing how she learned those lessons could be fascinating. Fans could watch her navigate high society as a young woman, experience her early marriage, build relationships with other noble families, and face the challenges that shaped her personality. It would also introduce entirely new characters while still keeping connections to familiar names that longtime viewers already recognize. But that's not the only possible direction being discussed. Leach also mentioned another idea that sounds completely different. Instead of traveling back in time, the franchise could move ahead to the 1970s. That would place Downton Abbey in a much more modern era, bringing an entirely new atmosphere to the famous estate. Leach even joked about what that version of the show might look like. He imagined the house during the wild 1970s, with famous rock stars wandering through the halls and someone like Keith Richards ending up relaxing in the bathtub. His comments were obviously playful, but they highlight just how different a 1970s Downton Abbey could feel compared to the elegant and formal world fans are used to. The contrast alone would make for an interesting series. The original show was built around strict rules, traditions, and formal etiquette. By the 1970s, society has changed dramatically. Music, fashion, politics, and culture all looked completely different, so watching Downton Abbey adapt to that era could create plenty of entertaining situations. The family would likely have to deal with changing values, financial pressures, and a world that no longer viewed aristocratic estates the same way. Even though both ideas sound interesting, many fans seem especially drawn to the prequel because it keeps the elegant historical atmosphere that made the original series so successful. It would also allow writers to answer questions that have existed since the show first premiered. Leach isn't the only person suggesting that Downton Abbey still has a future. Series creator Julian Fellowes has also made it clear that he isn't completely closing the door on returning to this world. While the grand finale is meant to provide a satisfying conclusion, Fellowes recently explained that he never likes saying never when it comes to future projects. According to him, it's impossible to completely rule out another Downton Abbey story. Even though there are no official plans right now, he believes there are always opportunities if the right idea comes along. That statement alone has given fans hope because Fellowes has been the creative force behind the franchise from the very beginning. He has even discussed another possibility that would connect two of his biggest television worlds together. Fellowes said there could eventually be a crossover between Downton Abbey and the Gilded Age. Since both series exist during roughly the same historical period, bringing characters together isn't impossible. He explained that wealthy families often traveled during hunting season and attended social gatherings across England, so it wouldn't be difficult to find a believable reason for characters from both shows to meet. Although nothing has actually been planned yet, Fellowes admitted the opportunity definitely exists if they ever decide to make it happen. A crossover like that could attract fans from both series because it would combine familiar characters while expanding the shared historical world. It could also introduce Downton Abbey viewers to characters from the Gilded Age and vice versa, creating a larger franchise instead of keeping each story completely separate. For now, though, the focus remains on the grand finale. The latest movie picks up during the summer of 1930 and throws the Crawley family into another difficult chapter. Lady Mary's unexpected divorce creates major problems, while financial struggles threaten the future of Downton Abbey itself. Those personal and financial challenges create tension throughout the house and place the family's reputation at risk once again. Like the television series, the movie balances emotional family moments with the realities of a changing world. The aristocracy is facing increasing pressure, traditions are beginning to disappear, and every character must decide how to move forward while holding on to the things that matter most. But beyond the story itself, the film carries much deeper emotional weight because of Dame Maggie Smith. The legendary actress passed away last September at the age of 89, making this movie feel especially meaningful for both the cast and longtime fans. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering more updates on this soon. We'll see you next time.